Straight to it. I am joined now by Liberal Senator Holly Hughes, former Labor Minister Graham Richardson and Sky News contributor Prue MacSween. Team, welcome. Good to have you in here.
It's nice to have everyone back together.
Everyone back in the same room, yeah. I'll start with you, Holly. If you had to think about your enduring memory of Queen Elizabeth, what is it?
Do you know, I think there's been a lot of discussion about her sense of humour. And I think the Paddington Bear video with that just perfect comic timing was so beautiful. But also back when Harry, around the Invictus Games, did a short video with her about the Americans were saying they were going to beat the Brits, and they did this very comedic video with sort of the mic drop at the end. And I just think it showed that she was someone who did see the funny side of things.
A good scout, you'd describe it as.
And look, and I think if you haven't found the story on Twitter, there's a video on Twitter where obviously one of her aides went for a walk with her. They met with some Americans who were on a walking holiday. And anyway, he asked her a series of questions, clearly didn't know it was the Queen, said, how long have you been coming here? And she said, well, you know, I've got a holiday. I live in London. I've got a holiday home here. I've been coming here since I was a little girl, over 80 years. And this guy said, well, you must know you must have met the Queen. And she turned around and said, no, but Dick here gets briefed by her often. And this American had a photo taken with Dick, you know, thinking he's
the Queen
the
took the photo.
And he said, gave the camera to the Queen. He said, what's the Queen like? Well, she's a bit cantankerous at times, but got a good sense of humour. But apparently they did get a photo with the Queen, still didn't know it was the Queen. Oh. And she said, I do hope once they get home and show their friends those photos, someone recognises me and explains it. So I think that wonderful sense of humour shows a depth that I think perhaps some people, you know, never really understood about
Prue,
her.
we were very fortunate in that we had the Platinum Jubilee in June. It was almost, and I felt this at the time, I don't know whether you did, that you felt this was the time that we're actually saying almost goodbye.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's just so, but it's still tough when it happens. You know, when you looked at that, my memory of her sitting alone in the what was it?
It was Prince Philip
when he died. On her own, this tragic, sad little old lady who was grieving but so stoic. And how strong was she? But you're right. I mean, all of those beautiful memories that we saw of her during that celebratory time will be cherished by all of us.
Take us back, Richo, to the time that you were in government. How was she regarded by the Prime Ministers you work with? I know some of them weren't necessarily enamoured with the monarchy, but overall, what impression did they give them, or did she give them, as to whether she was up for the job?
I think all of them were not enamoured with the idea of the monarchy, but they all liked her. And that made it very difficult to maintain your Republican stance. She was so, I think, beloved by everybody, and she just never put a foot wrong. How do you criticise someone who never puts a foot wrong? And it's pretty bloody difficult. So I was a great fan in the end. I mean, not a great fan of the monarchy idea, but a great fan of hers. I think she's done her country and the Commonwealth phenomenal service, just phenomenal. And her dedication to a job is just something that you've got to marvel at. There are very few people I've ever known who had that depth of dedication.
Well said. We've had some disrespectful gonzos get in the way of the last 3 days. Can I just make mention? We'll do it briefly.
Yeah.
The Green Senator, Marine Faruqi, tweeted, I can't mourn the leader of a racist empire built on stolen lives, land and wealth of colonised peoples. We are reminded of the urgency of treaty with First Nations, justice and reparations for British colonies in becoming a republic. See, my mother always used to say, if you can't say something nice about someone who's just died, shut your gob.
Well, I think that's a general rule. I don't think anyone thought Lydia Thorpe would have been the most respectful Greens. It's something that's new, I think, for everyone in the Greens party. I think those comments were disgraceful. I'm sure after the funeral and as time progresses, we'll all have a bit more to say about it. But the Republican movement in Australia put a statement out within half an hour. I mean, it was just really disgusting, really disrespectful, and I think the Republican movement continues to do itself a disservice in this country, and I think they just proved it again. And when you've got Marine Faruqi and the Greens backing your case in, I don't think the Australian people are going to go with you.
Prue, they've got no right to dance on her grave the way they did. I'm speaking of the Republican movement. I'm not speaking about Faruqi anymore. They have no right to dance on her grave the way they did for the dedication and diligence she gave Commonwealth countries. And I don't think they've got a model that will, surge us into the Republican era as quickly as they think.
Well, there's two things to this. I mean, when you look at the outpouring of grief and you looked at what transpired today, right around the Commonwealth, where we had this incredible history and pomp and circumstance, and it reminded us of where they've come from and the history of the monarchy. Why would we want to turn our back on that? And the other thing is these flea brains who really have no empathy, do not understand that, in fact, the passing of the Queen and handing the baton to Charles, who's done a bloody good job so far, I think, is actually almost reinforcing to all of us, why do we need to change? I really don't believe we need to. And you've got these fleas from the Greens who have they've got flea brains. They've got no empathy, no manners, no respect. I just found it disgraceful what they did.
Richo, Greens leader Adam Bant tweeted, "Rest in peace, Queen Elizabeth II. Our thoughts are with her family and all who loved her. Now Australia must move forward. We need treaty with First Nations people and we need to become a republic." Dancing on her grave once again. It's just grossly distasteful, isn't it?
I think the word dickhead might have been invented for people like him.
Love your work,
And we're back.
Well said. That's all that needs to be said, and that is the best thing we've heard in 3 days. You win, Richo. Will Australia speed towards a republic, do you think?
I don't think so at all. I think Prue's right, they don't have a model, and I think when you look at the people that they've got pushing this republic idea, they're not people that Australians are looking to. So, no, I don't think it's...
OK, Prue, I've got to take issue with the public holiday Albo has decided on. After consultation with Territory ministers and state premiers, he's come up with Thursday the 22nd. Why would you not have it the day after the funeral on the Tuesday? Or has Dan Andrews played a part? Because that means the Victorians will get Thursday off, Friday off, Saturday off, Sunday off.
Yeah, probably. I mean, look, it's all political. You can bet. They're saying it's because he's got to rush back. We don't need him around to think about
Why does he have to have holiday?
What the hell is it?
He's had enough holidays already. He doesn't need any more.
But I mean, it's all politics with Albanese, and we know that, and the Labor Party. Sorry, Richo, but they're the dickheads. And I just think it's really pathetic that we aren't doing close to the time, and even on the day or the day after she was buried.
Don't you think, Richo, it could have been on the Tuesday as opposed to the Thursday?
Yeah, probably, but I don't think it's it's the biggest deal in the world. But it could have been, yeah. But so what? I mean, it doesn't matter. It happens. It'll, the life goes on. I don't know why you all get so worried about these sort of things. I mean, I think you should all take a deep breath, have a little sherry, and then I think you might be okay.
Well, let me ask you this: when they get together as they did today at 10:55 with the Executive Council, they were all just cabinet members. Surely the Executive Council has to be members of the opposition as well, Richo.
Well, it's not. But
I think you find it is actually, Richo.
Is it really the Executive Council?
I think so. I actually think that some opposition members are members, yeah.
OK, let's get our book of protocol out. Richo.
I got that from a very renowned barrister and who's very, very good at the Constitution. So hopefully he's watching and he can tweet me and say, yeah, you're right.
Richo, Prue MacSween, Holly Hughes, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you
on this very special evening.